things that are kind of important to you that you make an appointment for. I've noticed that more and more. I mean, if you want to get your cable installed or fixed, you got to make a what? Appointment. Sure do. If you want to get your car fixed, you got to get an appointment, right? If you want to get your hair did, nails, you got to have an appointment, right? Am I right?
Yes.
Am I right? Okay, I'm just making sure. Those things that are important to us seem to require appointments. If you wanted to go and speak to the governor of the state, you're going to need an appointment. If you don't believe me, just show up. Just show up and ask to see the governor. They can say, you have an appointment? And you can say, do I need an appointment? They can say, you need an appointment. And it may take you a while to get an appointment to see the governor, right? It sure will. It sure will. Things that are important to us require an appointment. Doctors. You definitely need an appointment to see a doctor. Especially a specialist, right? They're not easy to get, are they? Some of y'all know. Y'all know, right? Hey, yeah. I called last week, to change an appointment, because I have an appointment on the 14th of August to see a neurologist. And I said, well, can I push that back because transportation and stuff like that? And they said, okay, we can fit you in February. Of next year. February next year. There's months between August and February. You're looking at the whole calendar. So is there another doctor available? Quicker than that? No. There was nothing until 2019. So you definitely need an appointment to see a specialist, don't you? And getting an appointment like that can be a little frustrating, isn't it? Because it's hard to come to terms with two people trying to arrange a time they can get together, right? Because that's what an appointment is. You saying, if me and Steve have an appointment, I'm saying, Steve, I'm going to meet you at 4 o'clock tomorrow. And Steve says, okay, I'm going to commit 4 o'clock tomorrow. And we're going to meet. I'm going to take time from my schedule, my life, my business, and I'm going to meet you at 4 o'clock. And I'm saying, I'm going to do the exact same thing. We're going to mark it in our calendars. We're going to put it in our phones. We're going to make an appointment, right? That's what an appointment is. And sometimes it's hard to find time that Steve's available and I'm available, right? So it gets a little hairy, just like I was available all from August 14th to the end of the year. But the doctor, he wasn't, right? So sometimes you can see it's frustrating, but it's important to do nonetheless, right? To make time for those things that are important. Now, it gets frustrating to make an appointment, but as frustrating as it is, probably the most frustrating thing is to try to call and make an appointment. Because it's one thing if me and Steve are face to face, we can kind of work things out. But when you have to call somebody, me and Pam, we don't like to call. We actually keep track of whose turn it is to call to make an appointment. And we'll try to bribe the other person, I'll do 7 dishes if you'll just make this call, because we just hate it so much. Because it's so frustrating. Because usually when you call, you get put on what? Oh, no, you don't even get put on hold anymore.
You're going to go through a menu.
You go through a menu and then they put you in the queue. That's right. Welcome to the queue. Thank you for your patience.
Yes.
You are now number 7 in the queue. Have you heard that? If you call a doctor's office now, that's what you hear. You are number 6 in the queue. Thank you for your patience. Does anybody know what the queue is? Because I'm still trying to. Until this week, I was trying to figure it out. So
it don't stand for quick.
It don't. It don't. You're right. I said, well, I'm going to put that in my sermon, but I need to know what that is before I start talking about it. I said, so I'm going to look it up. It helps if you know how to spell Q. Because I typed in the letter Q, I typed in C-U-E-Q, I typed, what is Q? And what I finally, after enough research, found out is what the Q is. Does anybody know? Anybody here know? You know what the Q is. Don't tell anybody. You know? Nobody else knows. All right. This is what the Q is. It's a British word, and it means a line or a sequence of people waiting in turn. Is that right? That's the definition. Now you have learned something. If you don't learn anything else today, you know what the Q is. Now spell it.
Q-U-E-U-E.
Q-U-E-U-E. Never would have guessed that. Never would have went there. I don't know how I found it, but somehow I happened to find it. So now you know. And there's nothing more frustrating than being in the queue. Right? Sometimes I try to call doctors on my break at school. I have 15 minutes. You're number 7 in the queue. How long is this queue going to last? When will I get out? What do those other people have in front of me? Is this important stuff they have? And you know, as the clock ticks and it gets closer to the time I have to go back to class, you're number 2 in the queue. I'm not going to make it. And sometimes you just got to get out. You got to get out of the queue. You got to get out of line. You know, it's kind of breaking the line. And that's frustrating, isn't it? It's frustrating because what you're trying to do is something important. I got important business I need to talk to these people about, and I'm in the queue. And you know, the good news of the gospel is this. God never puts you in the queue. As frustrating as it is for us to be stuck in the queue, to make appointments, to see important people, whether it's the governor of the state or a specialist or just trying to get Comcast to come to your house and fix your cable, or whoever it is you deal with. God, the most important appointment of your day, never puts you in the queue. He never puts you on hold. He never says, wait a minute, I know you need to talk to me. Have a seat over there, I'll get to you. Never. Never, ever does he make you wait. He's available 24/7. 365 days a year. He's there whenever you need him to hear what you have to say. And it's something that we sometimes take for granted. That we have him on speed dial for emergencies, but what he has to offer us, that face-to-face, that appointment time, that time the two of us can get together, is available all the time, every day. Not just to hear about the emergency things, not just to hear a wish list, but to share our day. Every part of it. The laughter and the sadness. Because there's some of both, right? The hills and the valleys, all that. He wants to hear it all. As a matter of fact, in today's scripture, he says, you know what? Bring me your sadness. Bring me those things that worry you. Bring me those things that weigh you down. Bring them. Bring it to me. I'll take it. You know, in the world that we live in, where people say, how you doing, but they don't really want to know. You know? Have you ever had somebody, how you doing, and they start to tell you? You know, oh, wow, yeah. Praying for you. Gotta go. But in reality, is a lot of times we say that as a pleasantry. How you doing today? Well, you know, my corns are acting up, and my knee, well, that's a wobbling, and had a little bit of indigestion this morning. Hair's falling out. What ain't falling out is getting gross. You know, nobody wants to hear that. Not really. But God does. God wants to know what's heavy on your heart. He wants to know what's burdening you, what's bringing you down. He wants to know what's lifting you up. He wants to be a part of your day every single day. Can you imagine if we had to call heaven to make an appointment? Wow.
That would be cute.
I mean, you see old Peter, can you see St. Peter up there like the old switchboard, like this here and this here, trying to get through to God, or at least an army of angels, right? You're going to need at least an army of angels handle all those calls, or a very big machine, you know. Press 1 for confessions, 2 for small miracles. If you have questions about the Trinity, press 3. Took you a minute, didn't it? for all other requests, press 4. You're now in the queue. You're now 2,768,312 in the queue. Right? That's what it would kind of look like, wouldn't it? But God doesn't do that. He says, no, come to me whenever, with whatever. I just want to talk. I just want to be a part of your day. Prayer is an important part of who we are as Christians. Christ would sneak away. He would get away from the crowds. He would create that time when he could talk to the Father. If it was important to Christ, don't you think it should be important to us? The New Testament tells us to pray without ceasing, to be devoted to prayer. Right? In other words, what it's telling us is that we should be in communication with our Creator more than once a week on Sunday. It should be more than hallowed words. It should be a time that we come and we want to talk to God every day. And maybe you have that time. I hope you do. I hope you have that time. Actually, I need more than one time a day. I need to talk to God probably multiple times a day. Most days. You know, some days are really good and I think I'm doing pretty good and I'm gliding along the ice, you know. But there's days I slide down the ice. You know, I spend all my time on my back trying to get up. You know, and I don't know about you, but whether I'm gliding or if I'm sliding, I still need to be in communication with God. You see, when we fail to do that, when we fail to make time for God, and I know it's busy, life's busy. Anybody got not busy? Because everybody's got busy. Everybody got things to do today, right? I got things to do. And I want to tell you, if your argument is, I'm too busy to pray, then you really need to pray. Because the busier you are, the more you need to pray. Because you got a lot on your plate and you're going to need some help. Right? Somebody say amen. Thank you. There we go. So you need to pray. So when we let those things sneak into our life, those things come between us and our prayer time, when the world kind of slips in there and separates us from what we intend to do or what we want to do, you know what we're doing? We're putting God in the queue. We just said, God, you know, I'm going to get to you, and we're going to talk, but you're number 5 in the queue. I got to get these lunches made. I got to plan dinner. I got to go to the store. I got to make that list. I got to get my workout in. You're number 5. But don't worry, you're moving up, because I just got those lunches made. You're now 4 in the queue, God. Isn't that what we do? We push God back for things in this world. We put God in the queue. God would never do that to you. Why would you do that to him? He only seeks to be with you, to be in relationship with you. Yet all too often, we ignore that. We ignore what's available to us and choose to do something else. You know, I read a story a couple of years ago. It was a short story. It was called, and I want to summarize it as best I can for you. It was called A Table for Two. Table for Two. And A Table for Two, and this isn't word for word, but A Table for Two describes an elderly gentleman sitting at a table, sipping his coffee. And the waiter comes up and says, sir, would you like to order? He said, you've been waiting for 2 hours. You've been here since 7 and sipping your coffee. I don't think she's coming. He said, no, I think I'll wait a little longer. Thank you. I'll sit here and I'll wait. And the wife says, okay, and he steps back and he goes about taking his orders, and he looks at the gentleman and he starts to wonder, so what would make somebody sit there and wait for 2 hours? So he must really care about her. He must really be in love, And he goes back to the table and says, sir, would you like a refill on that coffee? He said, yeah. He said, you only have one more refill. And he's poured it, and he thinks, and he says, sir, and he doesn't want to say it because he's afraid he's going to lose his tip. He goes, go ahead, what's on your mind? He said, why do you wait for her? And he said, she needs me. Cassie needs me. And he said, well, sir, no offense. This is the 3rd time she hasn't shown this week. He said, I'm not sure that she realizes that she needs you. He goes, oh, she needs me. She needs me. She does. She'll realize it soon. And the waiter backed away. Okay. And again, he started to wonder. He said, well, what in the world would this man think that this girl needed him so much? He's a nice-looking guy, dressed in a blazer, tie, something comfortable, not too overdressed as to make the other person feel uncomfortable, but dressing enough to show respect and to know that the person that's meeting is cared about and loved. And he just doesn't get it. He said, I just don't understand why you would stand for somebody standing you up 3 times this week. And you've been here for months before that. But just this week alone, 3 times you've been stood up. What in the world would make somebody do that? He's got to be crazy. He's either crazy or he's got this special love that I don't get. And as he looked at the old man looked around the restaurant, and he was messing with his napkin and his silverware, kind of lost in thought. And he said, it doesn't look crazy. It must be love. By now it got to be 9:30. And he went over to the old man and said, is there anything I can get for you? He said, no. He said, I think I'm going to call it a night. So I'll just take the check. And the young man brought him a check. He opened up his wallet, and he looked inside and pulled out enough money to pay the bill, but the money was filled with enough money to have bought Cassie anything she wanted, to give her a feast. So he pays the bill and puts down the tip, and he goes to the front register. To the hostess. And as on the way out, he stopped. She said, do you want to make a reservation for tomorrow? He said, yeah. He said, same time? He said, yeah, 7 o'clock. He said, you think she'll show? He said, I don't know, but I'll be here. And with that, the hostess wrote down the reservation for 7 o'clock the next night. And the gentleman strolled out into the street. Meanwhile, across town, Cassie was turning into bed. And she turned in her bed, turned out the light, and as she did, she saw a note that was scribbled and written on her nightstand as a reminder. 7 o'clock. Meet God for prayer. She felt a little guilty. She needed time with her friends after all. God would understand. So she turned over and went to sleep, thinking, maybe tomorrow. I'll meet God tomorrow. How many of us are like that? We plan on spending time in prayer, but yet things come up. Life happens. Our friends call. Our kids need things. Our parents need us. Life happens, doesn't it? You know, when life happens, prayer is needed the most. I don't think we can ever underestimate the power of prayer. Not as a list for other people to, even though that's important, we can't just come to God and say, I need you to fix Kenny, or I need you to fix Billy, or I need you to fix Sally, or Cassie, or John, or whoever. You know, I need you to heal them. Those things are all good prayers. So don't misunderstand what I'm saying. But your prayer time with God needs to be so much more than that. God desires that face-to-face time. You know, my favorite verse is, be still and know that I'm God. Be still and know that I'm God. It's hard to be still in today's world. And it won't happen unless you make the effort for it to happen. You see, when you're actually become still, you're not talking, you're not requesting, you're not going through your to-do list. When you're still and you listen for that whisper, that small voice that's God, it's then that you'll experience God in new ways. But you have to take a time out. I don't be in timeout. It's bad. No, timeout's good. I wish somebody put me in timeout all the time. I like to spend my timeouts in my bedroom, on my bed, with my eyes closed. I do my best timeouts there. But in reality is we need to spend some quiet time as God's people, drawing close to Him. So, you know, you can go through life in a lot of different ways. The first thing you can do is you can rest. And you should do is rest in the assurance that God will never put you in the queue. He'll never make you wait to talk to Him. But the thing that we need to reflect on today, the challenge for today, is to try to never put God in the queue. To never make God wait on us. You know, I've said it many times before, God is looking for an all-in commitment. He wants to be first. He doesn't never settle for being second. It's not that. It's not the kind of relationship He wants. He wants to be first, you know. You know, you ladies, what if your man came up to you, your husband now, but what if your boyfriend came and said, you know, I really like you, but I need you to be my second girl. You're good with that, right? I just need you to be my second girl. I got a girl, but I need you to be my second girl. You moved up in the queue. You were a third girl. What's her name left? How would that go over? Good, right? Yeah, no. That's not the way it works, is it? And the same thing, gentlemen, you will feel the same way if your lady looked at you and said, I really like you. You're number 4 in the queue. What? You know, you might be going somewhere else, wouldn't you? You might be looking for another date. God never puts you in the queue. Don't put God in the queue. You're number 1. Make Him number 1. Make Him number 1 in your life. Put Him before all other things. And with that, you'll enjoy peace that surpasses all understanding. You will draw strength in your darkest hours. And you rest in the assurance that you're loved by an almighty God that never ever puts you in the queue. And all God's people said, Amen.